Okay, let's take it step by step. Let's start with quarterback commit Deuce Knight. He's visited Auburn a couple of times for their opening games of the year. What's the latest?
Oh, it's a loaded question. So, like you mentioned, he visited Auburn, end of July, and then back for their opener against Alabama A&M, and back for their second game of the year when the Tigers lost to Cal this past Saturday. And I mean, it seemed like just a matter of time before he was going to flip to the Tigers. But, you know, it's recruiting. You never know. So I'm making some calls this morning, and then you get some different reports come out, and it just seems to be all over the place. And I understand that there's like a fatigue factor with Notre Dame fans on this. I see the comments. It's just like, oh, why are we still talking about this? He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He might end up flipping. There's obviously still a real possibility. But there's a report now from On3 Steve Wiltfong that I can confirm that there is a very strong possibility that Knight goes to Notre Dame for the Louisville game at the end of September. At the same time, there's a report from the Auburn On3 website that Knight scheduled an official visit with Auburn. Tigers play Oklahoma that weekend. So which one does he end up going to? Well, I don't know. It's a great question. So, if he goes to Notre Dame, the amount of love that will be showered on him from all the commits that are going to be, there's going to be a huge recruiting weekend for the Irish with a bunch of commits. The Notre Dame staff, I'm sure the fans, many of whom have been upset with Knight, may be singing a different tone that day. So if he goes to Notre Dame that weekend, might be looking very good for the Irish. Then if he goes to Auburn instead, it's going to be looking very good for the Tigers. Now, this is me trying to make sense of this, Darren, which maybe, Mike, what are you doing? Why are you trying to make sense of this recruitment? That might be my bad. But it kind of boils down to, for me, where does he go on September 28th? If he goes to Notre Dame, he might be going to Notre Dame at the end of this thing. If he goes to Auburn, he might be a Tiger. And then he still got Ole Miss lurking around as well. They're just sitting back and, you know, hey, mate, when can we get involved? We're looking pretty good here. Meanwhile, Auburn and Notre Dame just had bad losses on Saturday. So to make a very complex situation simple, that's what I got for you, Darren. It's I think this is one where there's different people close to Deuce telling him different things, and I think Deuce might be confused, like, what do I really want to do at the end of the day? But there's been so much confidence on the Auburn side of things for this recruitment that has been out there. But I think behind the scenes more for Knight, this is he may prefer Notre Dame. That's a very real thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, he could end up at Auburn. But if you're someone who's just written this off as it's done and dusted, that's just not the case from what I'm hearing. So trust me, people. I am not getting on here. It's like, hey, let's milk this thing as much as possible because I know people will want to hear this. That's not what I want to get on here and to do. And when I was thinking about this discussion with Darren, last night, we were not going to talk about Deuce. This was not going to be on the discussion list, but it's my job to report things as things pop. And the whole where is Deuce going to visit at the end of the month, that is a huge discussion point now.
There is so much up in the air. I hesitate to ask a follow-up question.
Please do.
Because it's just a total guess on your part. But just based on our conversations the last couple of years, there have been times with certain players where you have said the longer this goes on, the better it is for Notre Dame. Does Deuce fall into that category?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because he's got the better relationships at Notre Dame because of the amount of times he's visited there and everything. And Notre Dame will fight this fight. Like they will. But at the same time, you don't want to get left at the altar with 2 weeks before signing day or something, right? I mean, we've seen that in the past with the Irish. And luckily, late in the 2023 cycle, they were able to go and flip Kenny Minchie after striking out on others. So it's like, how long do you do this and then potentially lose more and more options? It's a little bit of a gamble, but to answer your question, I do think that it's better for Notre Dame the longer this drags out. Because it's just, to me, it's less and less likely that it goes to Auburn because there was so much buzz that he's going to flip. But why haven't you? Right? That's some of the discussion when I talk to people, on the Auburn side. It's like, well, it was supposed to be this date, then it was supposed to be this date in August, and then this and this and this, and it was supposed to be this past Saturday. There's a lot of buzz out there from different reporters that he was going to flip, expecting a flip. People saying that publicly, expecting a flip, and then he doesn't. So where is it now? Where is it now? It's a great question. I obviously don't have the answer for you guys right now, but what I can tell you is that Notre Dame is still very much a player. I felt like, and I've said to you, Darren, on these interviews, that it seems like just a matter of time before he commits. I'm walking that back. It's not just a matter of time. Notre Dame is definitely more real of a player in this than we were led to believe.
To be continued.
All right.
Let's shift to some wide receiver conversation. Any new offers going out?
Yep. Notre Dame offered 3 new guys at the end of August, and they dished out another one to Isaiah Mizell. He is from Orlando Boone High School, a 3-star prospect right now, but he is someone, Darren, who has been absolutely balling here to start his senior season. And he had a really good junior season as well, with 48 receptions, 21 of those going for touchdowns. Week 1 stats for him: 6 catches for 149 yards and a touchdown. And then and then on the 31st, he went 10 receptions, 231 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think that's more yards than I had as like a junior in high school my entire year, and he got that in 1 game. Yeah, Isaiah Mizell, an Arizona commit, Darren. I don't know how often you see Arizona going into Orlando, but he committed to the Wildcats July 10th after taking officials to Georgia Tech, Syracuse, and Kansas State. So this 6 foot is listed at 6 foot, 160 pounds. His older brother is a wide receiver at Florida, and both of his parents played, or I believe at least attended. I believe they did some athletics as well at Florida. But I would be interested to see if the Gators get involved. If they have a coaching change, you would have to imagine that new coach would turn to offering Mizell. So I don't know, but Notre Dame offered Mizell. What time would that have been? 1:03 p.m. Mizell announced that he got that offer. So Notre Dame, we knew they would expand the receiver board after striking out on some guys in over the summer, and Mizell now added to that board. So we'll see where it goes from here.